Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for this opportunity. And today, I will introduce capacitive deionization as a new strategy for brackish water desalination. This research work was carried out at the University of South Australia Centre for Water Management and Reuse. In this presentation, I will cover briefly about the comparison of the removal efficiencies of different carbon-based electrodes, and also introduce ion exchange membranes to the CDI process, and finally compare the membrane-based CDI and CDI. Sorry, a bit technical. I try to tune down a little bit. The unpredictable weather patterns in Australia in the past decade caused a very severe drought across the country. So the conventional water resources, such as rivers, dams, aquifers, are no longer sufficient. Instead, to provide the long-term water security, we need a diversified approach. So as a result, such as desalination, wastewater recycling and reuse is an essential part of this diversified approach. There are vast inland communities in Australia which in the semi-arid or arid areas. And often such communities are widely geographically spread out. And they are not close to the coastline, so seawater desalination is not possible for them. And also the surface water available is so limited, the only reliable source of water is groundwater. There are few hundreds of those groundwater bores available for them to produce fresh water. And the variation of the aquifers produce different sort of groundwater. Some are soft, some are quite hard. That means TDS levels sometimes are quite high, higher than the drinking water standards. Without treatment, without remove the salt, this water cannot be used directly as drinking water. And also, they have other issues, such as lack of technical resources. And in order to deal with the very complex membrane-based membranes, then you need technical resources. So in this case, an alternative, low-maintenance, high-energy, high-efficiency technology for desalination is needed. Capacitive deionization, so-called CDI, is such an alternative. And we're working on this research for about 5 years. And we continuously improving the efficiency. So CDI, in a nutshell, is an electro-induced absorption of ions on the surface of the electrodes. So when you apply electrical potential to a pair of electrodes, so your electrodes become a cathode and anode. So when the salt-containing water pass between the electrodes, and then the salt ions and the chloride ions will be absorbed to the oppositely charged electrodes. As a result, your salt is removed. Instead of moving around the 90% of water, which is RO is doing, the reverse osmosis is doing, this technology targets the small portion of the salt ions, which has potential to be energy efficient. In our laboratory, we focus on the critical component of this technology, which is carbon electrodes. And we prepared, synthesized, and compared different types of carbon electrodes, such as activated carbon, which is cheap, commercially widely available, and also carbon nanotubes and ordered mesoporous carbons. We put them together as a bench scale cell and compared their desalting efficiency under this electrosorption condition. We found their electrosorption capacities in the following order. The ordered mesoporous carbon has the highest efficiency, followed by carbon nanotubes. Activated carbon is the lowest efficient one. This is because the mesoporous carbon and carbon nanotubes has the right pore size distributions, which suitable for ion absorption. But on the other side, the activated carbon has a more randomly connected pore networks to prevent efficient movement of the ions. More recently, our research group developed graphene-based carbon electrodes. You may or may not know, graphene is a new generation of carbon materials. The inventor of graphene material won the Nobel Prize last year. And it is an ideal two-dimensional carbon material. The following TEM image shows the very semi-transparent, very thin sheets with the nano thickness. Visually, we can borrow the model of that. You just cut open of those nanotubes. They become graphene sheets. So it is flat sheets. And this material has a potential, have very high surface area, and also very good room temperature electrical conductivity. Both properties are ideal for electrode material. We compared our prepared graphene materials with the activated carbon, which is a benchmark. We found its electrosorption capacity is higher than activated carbon, and probably mainly due to its interlayered open planar structure, which is so easy for ions access and absorption and desorb. On the other hand, activated carbon is randomly connected, and also it has a large portion of very small micropores, which cannot be effectively used. In addition, we also acquired commercial CDI units, which has several suppliers internationally already, and tested their desalting efficiencies and estimate their energy consumption in our laboratory. Ion exchange membrane is another interesting addition to this technology. It has a selective properties, only allow ionized or cations, or positive charge or negative charge ions pass. So with the addition of these membranes, so the CDI can avoid so-called co-ion effects. That means you only allow the absorbable ions to come close to your electrodes and exclude those non-absorbable ions, which is same charged. Anyway, so finally, we compared the efficiencies of membrane-based CDI with the CDI without a membrane. We can see with the membrane introduction, so the efficiency has been increased up to 97% under the same condition, same initial condition. So, and also the rate constant of the membrane-based CDI is much faster. So ion can be absorbed more efficiently and transported fastly with the help of the ion exchange membrane to sorting out the unwanted ions. So finally, summary. So we know a technology which has easy maintenance, high efficiency is needed as alternative for brackish water inland desalination in this country particularly. And electrodes made from graphene nanosheets have been trialed into the bench scale desalination CDI cell. High exchange membrane has been introduced as an additional help to improve the CDI performance. And it is believed the membrane graphene-based CDI process can improve the desalting efficiency and can be a useful tool and alternative for the conventional RO pressure-based desalination technology, particularly in the inland desalination situation. Finally, I would like to acknowledge my current research funding provider, ARC, National Center of Excellency in Desalination, and Water Quality Research, Australia. Thank you for listening.